Krishna. So, the goal of life, the highest goal of life is Krishna Prema, love of Godhead. And obviously we like the idea, yes, love of Godhead, sounds good. Ecstasy. But it may take some time to actually achieve or uncover or manifest this loving nature of our heart. Srila Prabhupada several times says that we are all naturally already endowed with love for Krishna. This is our natural state. But this love, Krishna Prema, is like milk, and this material world is like, he says, tamarind. So usually we don't know very much what is tamarind. We can say like lemon. So if you have this experience, did you ever make paneer?
Yes.
You boil the milk and then you squeeze lemon into the milk, and then very quickly it curds. Okay, that's paneer. So he says this natural love for God that every soul has in contact with the material world, turns into lust. It turns into lust, kama, so or some selfish love that's egoistic. So love for our egoistic, selfish, self-centered pleasure at the cost of others. Sometimes, if the person is advancing, it can expand, so that's good. It expands to include our family, and sometimes our community, our country, even humanity. That's good. That's less selfish. But only when our love is directed at Krishna, who is unlimited and who encompasses all the living entities and everything and everybody, then it's perfect. Our capacity and hunger for love is unlimited. So only the infinite, unlimited God actually can satisfy our tendency and capacity for love. So to develop it is the process of bhakti yoga. Specifically describing sadhana, Rupa Goswami and the acharyas are saying that Krishna Prema is not something artificial. It's not something that we pretend to have. He says it's already in the heart. So you might have heard the famous verse, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema, Satya Kabunoi. So, Krishna Prema is eternally true. It's not something to develop. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Koya Udoi. When we engage in bhakti by hearing and chanting, then this Krishna Prema rises. It's uncovered. It manifests. Prakatyam hridi sadhyata in Sanskrit. So that's the purpose of sadhana, to uncover our capacity for love. Okay. So I guess we can maybe even chant these verses describing the 9 steps. Can you see it? Yeah. So let us chant together. Ada Shraddha Tatha Sadhu Sango Ta Bhajana Kriya Tato Nartha Nivriti Syat Tato Nishta Ruchistata Atha Sakti Stato Bhavas Tata Prema Vyudanchati Sadhakhanamaya Prema Pradurbhave Bhave Krama. So, these are the 9 steps. Do we have that? Ah, yeah, here it is. So we have Shraddha, Can you please... faith, transcendental faith in the transcendental goal, so in something that's actually meaningful. So we have trust that there is something that is eternally true. These are just the 9 steps, the same 9 steps. And besides, I've discovered that it shows in the mirror fashion, so you cannot read text in this video. Only some pictures maybe. Yeah, so Shraddha. Then Sadhu Sangha. Then naturally we associate with devotees. Sadhu Sangha. Then Bhajana Kriya. So then we engage in devotional service. And in the beginning it can be anishtita, unsteady. Then anartha nivrtti. When we engage in devotional service, then we start removing our undesirable qualities, our obstacles to achieving our goal. And there are different kinds of obstacles. So what do you see as an obstacle to your perfection? Which obstacles can you think of in your spiritual development? False ego, yes. Maybe. Greed, yes. Anger, yes. Anybody is familiar with anger? Yes. Oh, sometimes we are angry at the computer or at something. Yes. Pride. You have any obstacles, Connie?
Yes. My family.
Family.
Sometimes there's a relationship you have to keep, but they don't
so
agree with my opinion about
disagreements. So quarrels. We quarrel. Yes. Okay. So we have difficulty harmonizing our relationships. Okay. Yes. What other obstacles can you think of? Unsteadiness. Yeah. So we will discuss 4 main categories of obstacles that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives and Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives. So there are 4 big categories, and within each one there is 4 examples. So total 16 they discuss. So they are Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says obstacles coming from sin, then obstacles coming from piety. So piety also can become an obstacle. Then obstacles coming from offenses. So offenses to devotees, to the Lord, to the other living entities in general, even non-devotees, and to the holy name. So these are 4 main categories of offenses. So they can block our development. So we will discuss these. Okay, so that's anartha nivrtti. Then when we sufficiently develop our focus on Krishna, then that's nishta. So nishta is translated as steadiness or steady faith. So Prabhupada translates this here. One becomes free from all material attachment, attains steadiness in self-realization. So nishta. Nishta, that's steady, unshakable faith. You're able to become, to be fixed in devotional service. And then, finally, taste. So, when in Shikshashtaka Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes Nadhanam Najanam Nasundarim, I desire no wealth, no followers, nothing in the material world. So that's it describes the stage of ruchi, taste. So our renunciation comes from positive taste. We follow the positive, Krishna consciousness is a positive program. Prabhupada says that yoga, so in Hindi, in mathematics, yoga is sum, addition. How do you say sum or addition, Connie Madaji, in German? Addition, sum, to add. Summe? Okay, Summe.
Which verse is this?
This is 410. 410. Yeah, so yoga means plus, basically. Yoga means plus. So Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness means plus Krishna. So our program is not really minus Maya, as the Gyanis and impersonalists are trying to do. Minus Maya, we are trying to have plus Krishna. And by plus Krishna, we are able to develop taste, and then from that taste, naturally, minus Maya happens automatically. So maybe some of you have this experience, like for example, I was even practicing serious Buddhists, and I even lived in a forest, and I couldn't stop smoking, or rather, to be precise, I did stop smoking many times. But I began again. But when I became a devotee, when I started chanting Hare Krishna and then doing some devotional service, then I just forgot. I forgot completely. Now, only after like 10 days, I saw somebody smoking. Oh, wow, I'm not smoking. Yeah, so I just completely forgot, because you got something better, some better engagement. So that's the program, to give param drishta nivartante, to give a higher taste, and then by higher taste, then lower drops away naturally. So that's ruchi. Of course, this strong ruchi comes already after nishta, so after the anarthas are removed, undesirable qualities and traits, habits, and then taste, and then eagerness, strong desire for Krishna, and then bhava and prema. So these are the 9 steps to perfection. Any questions on this so far? Yeah, anything?
Maybe you can say something about the aparadha and sin.
Yes, so we will discuss this now, the different types of obstacles or anarthas. The 4 categories and 4 examples in each one. But before, maybe shortly, I would like to discuss also another topic from Madhurya Kadambini at Anishtita Bhajana Kriya. The 6, they are also anarthas, but they are initial anarthas, which characterize our anishtita, unsteady performance of devotional service. So I remember first time I heard about these 6, I felt, wow, some acharyas know what's happening in my heart. So I felt a big relief. I thought, wow, so I'm not the only one to whom these things happen. So this Madhurya Kadambini was like a mirror showing our life. So the first one is called Utsahamai. Utsahamai means initial enthusiasm. So like we learn something, we start learning something, and then we think, it's all clear. Like, we know everything. Yeah, Krishna is God, devotional service is the process, and the soul is God's servant. That's it. What else is there? So we know everything. So, and sometimes we even think that we know better than everybody else. Like in my first temple, the wife of the temple president was saying that it's amazing in Krishna consciousness, you walk down the street and you know everything. So she was feeling this. So it's natural. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says it's like a boy who has learned how to read and write, and he thinks, yes, now I know everything. So that's it. I can read and I can write. That's it. So I'm already educated. So Utsahamai. But we know that after this initial enthusiasm, then Ghana Tarala. Ghana Tarala means thick and thin. Thick and thin. Sometimes thick, sometimes we are fat, sometimes we are lean. I remember when my Guru Maharaj came to Sweden, Gopal Krishna Maharaj came to Sweden, and he saw me there after half a year, or after 1 year, and then he said, oh, you lost weight, you're skinny. So he was surprised that I came to Sweden and I didn't become fat, like it was expected to come to, temple with very nice prasadam, but I lost weight. But this is something that happens, sometimes we are very austere and we are doing a lot of service and we lose weight. And sometimes we think, I am already austere enough, so for Krishna we can eat more. And then so Ghana Tarala, or sometimes the example here, sometimes we chant 60 rounds, or 50 rounds, or 25 rounds, and another day we hardly can finish our 16 rounds or less. So it's up and down, up and down. So thick and thin, thick and thin. So that's one day we read for 6 hours or 5 hours or 3 hours, for many hours, and then for a whole week after that we don't read at all. So Ganatarla. Then Vyudha-vikalpa. Vyudha-vikalpa means fighting with our doubts. So the example given here is that a devotee thinks, maybe I should take sannyas. Because, it's the best position to practice, so become a monk, renounce material life completely, and then I can practice very nicely. And then he thinks deeply, and then he sees beautiful ladies, and he thinks, but all Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers were householders, were family people. And also, it's a good preaching to have nice family life. It's wonderful preaching to show the example. And also it's not an obstacle, and it's a normal position in this world. So one day he thinks about becoming a monk, the next day he thinks whom he should marry. So he's trying to decide, or should I be...
Go, or should I stay?
Yeah.
Should I go, or should I stay?
Yeah. Should I be a book distributor, or should I... so whatever. So Vyudha-vikalpa. Then the next one, Vishaya Sangra. Vishaya Sangra is fighting with sense gratification. And so he thinks, yes, I should stop eating sweets, or eat sweets only once a day, or I will chant 60 rounds, or I should not eat 3 plates of halwa. And then the Sunday feast comes, and they serve prasadam, and he says, no. And then they bring another halwa, and this is such a nice halwa. So he thinks, okay, next Monday. So from Monday I will start new life. I'll start my new life on Monday. And after all, it's prasadam, so he's struggling with his senses. Then niyamakshama. So this is the next one. He's taking a vow that, okay, I will read every day 2 hours, or I will eat only once a day. From today, I will eat only at noon, once a day, or something, some other thing. And then he cannot keep such vows. So he takes a vow, and then he cannot keep it. And sometimes he can keep it for some time, like especially if it's some renunciation, some diet, but then he compensates, so he doesn't eat any sweets for 1 week, but then next week he eats triple amount, or 3 times that many sweets. So niyama. Niyama means take akshama, not being able to follow one's own rules that one has accepted. Is it big enough? Can you read all this? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's from the book by Purusa Prabhu on the Bhagavatam. It is his book. Let me show you the cover so you can recognize. This one. Yes. Okay, so this. Oops. And this. Unveiling his lotus feet. That's Purusa Prabhu's. That's his favorite picture. I think from New York. You saw Krishna standing on the bank of the Yamuna, and then the moon is above Krishna. So he likes this picture, and so he calls his overview of the first 4 cantos of the Bhagavatam unveiling, like you draw the curtain. You open the curtain of the altar. So the first two cantos are Krishna's feet, and canto 3 and 4 are Krishna's knees. So that's Krishna's feet. Right? So the first 4 cantos are introducing us to Krishna. So Bhagavatam is no different from Krishna, and so the first cantos are gradually teaching us how to surrender to Krishna, give us humble introduction to Krishna. So in this book, he gives this nice analysis. And then number 6 is Taranga Rangini. Taranga are waves, and Rangini enjoying. And then after you have been following for some time, then you have a lot of positive, nice side effects of bhakti. Nice prasadam, people respect you, people give you gifts, people glorify you, say, oh, you are such a nice, you're so learned, you're such a nice devotee or something. And we think, that's true. So this is one of anarthas, which is weakness of heart, hridaya dorbalyam, when we enjoy side effects of bhakti. So these 6 make our bhakti unsteady. It's up and down, and we are distracted by some other things. Any questions here about these?
Is this about sin?
No, this is just general for most people.
Weakness.
Weakness of heart. Yeah, this is hridaya dorbalyam, weakness of heart. It's actually they can be called bhaktyuta anarthas. They are anarthas coming in the process of bhakti. So as you do bhakti, these things can arise. Sometimes even the person can be very nice and humble before bhakti, but then he becomes a temple president or some manager or something, and then for Krishna, he thinks, I must control, and he sometimes in devotional service, he can be more controlling than he was before. So it's called bhaktyuta, because before nobody cared about him outside. And here, I become a big boss, or a big teacher, or a big bhakta leader or something. So I may try to, for Krishna, I think it's for Krishna I'm doing this. But it may manifest as harshness to others, even criticism. I may criticize. So we'll discuss. This is one of the categories of anarthas. So that's connected more to Taranga Rangini. Okay, so that's Anishtita Bhajana Kriya. Jai. Unsteady. Now, anarthas. So, as far as anarthas are concerned, we have just a second. I have Urmila Mataji's PowerPoint on Madhura Kadambini. So she discusses this. I'm bringing out the page with the So, 4 categories: from sin, from pious activities, from offenses, and in the process of bhakti. From sin they are called dushkritota, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur calls them tattva vibhrama, becoming confused, being ignorant about truth, and he describes 4 categories. Then from piety he calls this asat trishna, hankering, desiring impermanent things, temporary things. So these are bhukti, enjoyment, svarga, heavenly planets, mukti, liberation, and siddhi, mystical powers, like to read the minds or to influence people or something. To change. So these are anarthas coming from piety, because when you are pious, then they are already sort of within your reach. You can get them easily, and so they can distract us from offenses and bhaktyuta, from bhakti. Okay. So in his Amnaya Sutra, Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes them. So there is slight difference of names between Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur uses very descriptive names. So Hridaya Durbalyam, weakness of heart, in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's books, and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur calls this Bhaktyuta, anarthas coming in the process of bhakti. Aparada, that's the same, aparadota, aparada. Asad Trishna, hankering for, desiring temporary material things, asad. And Vishwanath Chakravarti calls this sukritota, anarthas coming from sukriti, from pious activities. And Tata Vibrama, he calls this dushkritota, coming from sin. Now, from sin, these are 4 kinds of illusion, 4 kinds of ignorance. What ignorance? Svatatve, ignorance about who I am. Then paratatve, who is God. Right? So svatatve, like thinking I am body, I am just a material body. That's one of the result of sinful activities. Then not knowing who is God, not understanding that God is transcendental, that He's a person, He's a transcendental person. So that's another type of ignorance, not knowing that. Then sadhya sadhana, not knowing what is the goal of life and what is the process to achieve it. What is the sadhana or path for perfection? What is perfection of life and how to get it? So not knowing that prema is perfection of life. And virodhi, vishaya, not knowing what are the obstacles. Like not knowing that alcohol is not good. Not knowing that drugs or intoxication are not a help in our practice, but it's a distraction. So these are 4 types of dushkritota anarthas, anarthas which arise from sin. Is it okay? Mm-hmm. So, as we already discussed, it's not to be, nothing to be really scared of, because these anarthas go away very early. Aparadas arising from sin and aparadas arising from piety are removed already at the stage of bhajana kriya. Trying to find where it is. Okay, stages. Yeah, okay, we have it here. So you can see sin and piety, these anarthas coming from sin and from piety, are almost completely removed already at bhajana kriya. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives different stages. Partial destruction. So he says, like, when we tear the cloth, then the cloth is destroyed, but partially. Like pieces are there. Like dhoti, sometimes it's old, you tear it, but then I'm using it as gamcha. You know, I just tear it in 2 parts and I use it as, as a towel. So it's still there, so it's partial destruction. Pieces are there. And then, so he says, ekadesha vartini. So in some parts it's removed. Then pervasive, that's bahudesha vartini, means that it's really almost removed. Like you tear this cloth to pieces. You cannot really use it. And then almost complete, prayaki, and then complete. Purna and absolute atyantika. So he gives different stages of purification. And you can see that sin and piety is practically the easiest one. It is almost completely removed already at bhajana kriya, already at the stage of practicing bhakti. Because, you just come to the temple 3 times and everybody tells you, you are not the body, you are the soul. Sometimes it's like the first thing you hear. And, okay, maybe first time you didn't get it. Like Purnachandra Maharaj was saying, he was giving a Sunday feast class in Los Angeles, and he said, you're not your body, you're not your body. And then somebody after the class said, sir, you're saying that I'm not my body. But if I'm not my body, then whose body am I? He's so identified with the body that he can even agree that he's not his body, but he must be somebody's body. You see, or like people say, I have soul. They think that I am the body and I have a soul. They don't understand, I am a soul. Who is this? Teilhard de Chardin or some theologian, famous theologian, he says, we are not humans with a spiritual experience. We are spirit souls with human experience. So the focus, the center is that we are spirit soul. So already at bhajana kriya, you just start chanting, you just start coming to the lecture, you just start reading, and it's clear. You understand, okay, I'm a soul, I'm a servant of God. So the 4 types of ignorance are removed very quickly. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is very clear that as soon as you start bhakti, as soon as you chant Hare Krishna, not even pure name, but just even a shadow of the holy name, even a shadow of bhakti, already from Shraddha or even before, so means Shraddha means even before Shraddha, your karma is finished. Your karma is finished. It's not karma anymore. There can be some, like Prabhupada gives the example of a fan. You turn off the fan and for some time it still rotates for a little while longer. So something can still be there, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Bhaktivinoda Thakur are very clear that as soon as you begin bhakti, then your Krishna immediately removes your karma. So bhakti is very powerful. Any questions here? Any doubts?
I read yesterday in the Nectar Dahindava that the service, that Krishna don't take the service from everyone. He wants to be sure.
Yes. That you are sincere, that he can trust you.
Yeah, because there's a eine große Anziehung zu der Hingabe, zu dem Service.
Yes, he's controlled by bhakti.
Genau.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that refers to the stage of bhava. So meaning that he doesn't give complete transcendental ecstatic love. So that's already very high level. So that he doesn't give easily. That for that he wants to see that you have removed anarthas and that you actually want it. That you actually want the spiritual. You want to serve Krishna. You don't want to exploit Krishna or get something from him. So that's bhava. But Shraddha and these other bhajana kriya, you can see that as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he comes and he says, I request everybody in the universe, please accept these fruits of bhakti and help me distribute to the whole world, to others. So this he gives, he's eager to give, and also when you want to give to somebody, when you are eager to give somebody bhakti, then Krishna is ready to give it. If the person agrees, he will not force, and you cannot force it. Sometimes I don't know if you have this experience. When I was just beginning Krishna consciousness, I thought, oh, this devotee, this person, this like classmate or university friend, he's very philosophical. He will probably accept bhakti easily. And this one, he's very simple. He will not take bhakti. And then you see this philosophical has no interest, and this simple person, he is sincere and he actually starts reading and studying. So it's not material. There is no material qualification. You cannot materially predict who will accept bhakti, who will not accept. It's not by knowledge. It's not by piety. Sometimes you can see some drunkard becomes a devotee, very sincere, and somebody very pure, he cannot become a devotee. He has some obstacle there.
When you begin to chant Hare Krishna mantra,
Yeah.
then you must feel love for God.
At least.
But it has no. This makes it. If you chant only if you have no feelings or syntaxes.
Already chanting, that's your service, and Krishna appreciates that you want to please him. That's the beginning. So our chanting is the process, how we soften our heart and go through this, through these 9 stages. So chanting is the main practice, especially for this age. So yes, we have to add affection, but it will sometimes take time before we really are steady. Before it will be unsteady. One day, yes, Hare Krishna, another day, oh, Hare Krishna, oh, Krishna. I have to finish my rounds. Jalangi, you had some?
I'm not sure if I can put the question in the right way. It's being illusioned by
Tattva Vibrama, yes.
this impious activity.
Uh-huh.
Because you said that they are remote on the
Bhajana Kriya.
And we see devotees even after 20, 30 years, they are struggling as if, again, they are as if illusioned about involvement sadhana. Is it due to offenses or due to...
Yeah, it can be because of offenses that sort of they roll back. But even, even if they commit offenses, they know the truth. Like Manidhar Prabhu was saying, that the advantage of a devotee, that at least we hear the truth all the time. So even a person may not be capable of practicing it, but still he knows that God is the supreme person, Krishna, and we are all God's servants. And the process to achieve perfection of life is love of God, and the process of achieving it, the path, is devotional service. So these things, even a person who is struggling or is covered, they know at least these principal basic things.
And for example, devotees who are illusioned by internet or some things.
Yeah, so they are, yes, so they can be struggling with obstacles, but they know that these are obstacles. They can be struggling. Maybe he cannot follow what he knows, but at least he knows. Yeah, at least he knows that that's the goal, and that's already helpful, because that means that when something happens in his life and his life is developing, then he will remember. Like, I remember in my brahmacharya ashram we had one devotee, and we were distributing books together, and then Boris, his name is Boris, and then he disappeared. He struggled, and there was some difficulty, and then he disappeared. And then I heard that he went home to visit parents, and his mother called the police, and they drafted him into army. She thought that in the army they will sort of help him to forget Hare Krishna. And he even gave up. He stopped chanting, and he gave up Krishna consciousness. And then after like 1 year or 1.5 or 2 years, I visited my native city, and I came to the temple, and then I see he's sitting in the soldier's uniform in the corner, and he's peeling potatoes. Very humble, you know. He was, every leave he had in the army, he would immediately go to the temple, And he said, can I do something? Can I wash the floor? Can I peel the potatoes? Can I peel that? Can I do some service? And when I asked him, he said, oh, Adi, never stop chanting. Adi, no, whatever you do, always chant Hare Krishna. Never forget, never stop. I said, what happened? He said, oh, I stopped chanting and I went to the army and it was total hell. It was total hell. And I remember, he said, I was standing as a guard in winter. It was very cold. It was terrible. I was standing with this gun and I thought, should I kill myself? Should I kill some rascals? What should I do? And then he said, actually, there is Krishna and there is Hare Krishna mantra. Maybe I should try chanting, give it a try one more time. And he was standing there in that whatever was his post as a sentinel, and he just started chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And he says, the same second, everything changed. Hell finished, his hell immediately finished, and good life began again. So he says, you should never stop chanting Hare Krishna. Never stop. And he was very serious. He would always come to the temple and he would, what can I do? Can I, some simple service. Can you please give me any service? Not like other soldiers, they go and try to, drink or do some crazy things. He would go directly to the temple and do some humble service. Always. So you can see that even he gave it up, but he didn't lose this knowledge. So when something difficulty came in his life, then he remembered, oh, there is the process of chanting and Krishna is God. And he at least tried, and as soon as he tried, all the difficulties were removed. So even people who give it up and stop practicing, at least they know the principle, at least theoretically. So therefore, when need arises, they can come back, they can start again. As Narada Muni says that one who tasted this nectar once will never forget this taste again. And I put water. Let me see this blue bottle of water.
No, I don't.
I brought it with me.
No, das ist nicht sein.
No, I have it. I just have to find where it is. Okay, so these are 4 types of ignorance, which is the result of a sin, the result of sinful activity. I may not see it, but I know it's there. So it's saying, if I may not practice bhakti, but I know it's there. So from the early moments, you already know, that's the process. Okay, so even though it sounds like something difficult, sin and piety or karma, actually sin and piety, that's the main idea of karma. And that's practically everything karma is composed of. Sin and piety. Sin and bad activities and good activities. And there's nothing else in karma. Other things are, other anarthas are already aparadas of spiritual entities and some side effects of bhakti. So karma is here, and karma is stopped very early. Or how to say, it's not, doesn't mean that you just enjoy. It means that it's not a chain, you're not chained, you're not locked. The door is unlocked and open. You may still continue, like people who were sometimes in some labor camps or prison, in exile, so they would sometimes like in previous ages, they would have to drag some cannonball or something. So even when they were unchained, they would still continue walking like they were doing this in prison. Or some habits may remain, but they are free already. So in the same way, we may continue doing some old, following some old habits, but we are not bound. So we can change, and these things are not keeping us in this material world. So therefore, this is the biggest, that's why Prabhupada says this is the highest philanthropic activity, giving bhakti to others, because it immediately unlocks the prison of karma. So people are suffering in this world because of karma, and nothing works on karma quicker than bhakti. You cannot. If you want to improve your karma by pious activities, it's a long process and it's difficult. But if you give a transcendental process of devotional service to God, then it just immediately changes the platform of people's existence. So immediately makes them free, and they can very quickly transform their lives. Very quickly. Sometimes really their karma is really changed. There was some many stories like this, but like there was one lady who was a drug addict, and usually these drug addicts, because of the law, they earn by selling drugs. To buy drugs, they sell drugs. So she was selling drugs, and then she found devotees. She started chanting. She got the books, and she took interest in devotional service. And she wanted to. I think she even moved to the temple. She moved to the temple, and then they arrested her. So they discovered her connections from before and arrested her and put her in jail. And then, but she was already in jail. She was chanting Hare Krishna. She was following the 4 regulative principles. She was living pure life. So then, judge called her, and then he said, "What are you doing?" And she said, "Well, I'm Hare Krishna. I'm chanting Hare Krishna. These are the principles I'm following. No drugs, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no meat, no this, no that." And so then he asked about this, and then he said, "Actually, this is, and I'm living in a temple." So then he said, "Oh, you don't need prison. So you already are living a more disciplined and strict life than we can give you in prison. So just don't do this and go. You can go." He released her. Or there was another. So karma finished, even though already she was even arrested. Or as one devotee, he was a big businessman. He took a big loan from his business partners, and then it was 98, I think. So this there was some financial crisis in 98, I think, and then he couldn't repay like $500,000 or $2 million on loan, and so these people he took loan from, they wanted to kill him. So he ran away to India, to Vrindavan, and he was living on the bank of the Yamuna. And he was living in a straw hut. And so I saw his picture from before. They couldn't recognize him. Fat guy in a business suit with a phone. And he was doing a lot of nice service, but he looked like nothing he is looking now. And then he lived on the bank of the Yamuna for half a year. And he became very lean, with a beard, like big eyes, very skinny. So then they took a picture of him and sent it to his creditors. And then they looked at this, he's in the gamcha, in this naked, half naked, on the bank of the Yamuna, very skinny. And they look at this and they say, "Ooh, is that how he lives now?" "Yes." He said, "Ooh, this is worse than we could do to him. We couldn't do this." "Okay, then forget this. Okay, he can, no problem. It's not. He doesn't have need to fear us anymore. So that's it. So he can. We are satisfied." So plenty of stories like this, that somebody becomes a devotee and even gross manifest karma is changed. He's not persecuted. Any comments or questions? Doubts? Oh, why is this karma is released, but I still have bad liver, bad digestion, or this, whatever, insomnia, or some. How is this? It says karma is removed, but I have this karmic problem. Oh, I'm still wearing spectacles, like before Krishna consciousness. So why karma is not removed? Why do I still have to wear spectacles? What do you think?
Well, something else. Before I had not had, now I have.
No, that's it's called aging. It's normal process of aging. After 40, you get difficulty reading at close range. Yeah. So why? How do we explain this?
Prarabdha?
Yeah, prarabdha. It's already manifest. And it's not. Krishna tries not to break the laws. He's trying not to break the laws. So if it's not some extraordinary obstacle, like going to prison or something, then he tries not to remove it, because it's already there. It's your karma. It's your natural result. So he keeps it, because it's not preventing you. You can take the spectacles and you can continue doing your bhakti. It doesn't stop you from bhakti. It's not such a big obstacle. So he's not breaking these laws. It's just that this karma does not stop you from bhakti. Right? So if it prevented you from bhakti, maybe he would adjust this. But otherwise, he doesn't have to do this. And there are some other explanations why devotees also become sick, and devotees also can become old, and devotees also die. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes the reason for this in the second canto. He gives three main reasons why devotees suffer. So it's a little technical why devotees suffer. You want to hear this? Or you know? Yeah, why devotees suffer. So the main reason, that's from his comment on the second canto, 2.3.17. Ayur harati vaipumsam udyan astan chayanasam. With every rising and setting, the sun decreases life of everybody. Every day is closer to death for ordinary people. Except pasyarte yat kshananita uttama shloka vardhana. Except those who dedicate at least one moment to Krishna Katha, to hearing about Krishna. Uttama shloka vardhana. So then Vishwanath Chakravarti raises a doubt that, but devotees also die, devotees also become old, devotees also become sick. So how is it? So he says three reasons. The main reason is to increase devotees' longing for Krishna. So whatever problems are there, the main purpose why Krishna allows this to be, that we are serious about Him. Right? First of all, this is not against our karma. It's usually our normal lesson we have to learn. What is karma? Karma is just lessons we have to learn according to our actions, according to our behavior. But the main lesson we have to learn is to surrender to Krishna, surrender to God. And Krishna therefore allows these things to happen, so we are more serious, more sincere, that we go to Krishna. And you can see that if somebody is pious enough or devotional enough, like that devotee I mentioned, he experienced difficulty and he remembered Krishna. And or as they say, there is no atheist in foxholes. Even a total atheist, if he's on the verge of death, he's ready to pray to God, do anything. Right? It's like last hope, God. So what to speak about a devotee? A devotee, normally, if there is a difficulty, he turns to God, it becomes more serious. And he's usually humble. He thinks which anartha you have to remove. He thinks how to advance in Krishna consciousness. So that's the main reason. But there are two more. One is to protect the secret of bhakti. Bhakti, in other words, he keeps bhakti. This is what you mentioned. That bhakti is for honest people that actually want to serve God, not those who want. Because otherwise, if you just start chanting Hare Krishna, become a devotee, and then you never suffer, you're always rich, you never become sick, then this is what materialists want, right? So then, how much money do I get? Do I become rich? Then one could do this out of materialistic motives. So therefore, to make sure that only those who are honest and sincere practice bhakti, or turn to bhakti, or understand, discover bhakti, then it looks that devotees also suffer. Of course, if you look carefully, you will understand that devotees' suffering is devotees' life is different. Like Purnachandra Maharaj was saying that when he was living in London, his landlord was saying, "I cannot understand. It seems that you are not rich. You cannot even afford have a telephone in your flat. But then also I see that every year you go to India. I see you spend the whole day, singing and chanting some ancient Indian poetry. And in general, you live like you live an aristocratic life." Another devotee is saying that his father says, "You live like a bankrupt aristocrat." So when you look closely, it may look that devotees maybe are not rich, but actually devotees are always okay. Yeah, devotees are usually taken care of. So it's just outside to protect bhakti from people who are dishonest, who maybe would like to exploit God. And the similar reason to allow non-devotional philosophies to exist, because this is Kali Yuga, this is earth, and Kali Yuga, and this is material world. It's a place for those who want to forget God. It's the only place in the universe where they can exist, because on higher planets, everybody understands that there is God. And God, obviously, He comes there. And even on the neighbor planets on the same level, it's also everybody's a devotee. It's so obvious that God exists. So it's only on this one little planet. And it's only this Kali Yuga, which is just 10% of the Yuga cycle. So a small percent. So at least now they have to be given a chance. Right? So if it was obvious that you just take Hare Krishna and then you start shining and you walk on water and, like obvious that, then how could atheists survive? This is what Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur describes in the 10th canto. When Krishna was nearing the end of his Leela, and Kali himself came to Krishna and he said, "Krishna, what should I do? Look, demons you have killed, devotees will go with you, and those who are in between, when they see how you go away in such a glorious way, they will become devotees. So where will be my age? Where will be Kali Yuga? How will I rule the earth in Kali Yuga? So please think about something." So then Krishna said, "Don't worry, I will not leave this world as Ramachandra, as Lord Ram, who left with in these heavenly spaceships. Yes. So therefore Krishna arranged this battle, and the Yadavas killed each other, and it looked as if Krishna is shot in the foot. So he gave a chance. So if you want to doubt, okay, you can say, "Oh, see, Krishna was shot in the foot and he died," which is, of course, still not a good reason. Usually you don't die if you are shot in the foot. But at least you have an excuse to reject God, to reject surrendering to God. So these are 3 reasons that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives why devotees suffer. Okay. So, karma is removed already at the beginning of practice, bhajana kriya. Another point is that bhajana kriya, Prabhupada says there in this Gita, he says, bhajana kriya, Prabhupada describes, in the next stage one becomes initiated. Right? So we also know that initiation also removes karma, stops karma. So bhajana kriya is a stage of already a relative freedom from ordinary karmic obstacles. So obstacles coming from piety. What are the obstacles from piety? They are, Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains, desire, so asat trishna, desire for material objects. So we usually call it bhakti, just enjoyment. Desire for heavenly comforts, so that's svarga. Go to heavenly planets, enjoy that. Desire for mystic powers, siddhi, and desire for liberation, mukti. So why pious people have these obstacles? Because it's easy for them to get it. Because they are very pious, so these things are easy to get, and therefore they can distract the person. However, again, these are karmic obstacles, and therefore already when you just begin to read the books, when you just begin to chant, when you just begin to meditate on these topics, then you can very quickly give up these lower desires, these insignificant desires, asattrish, and therefore you can become free from these obstacles. Okay, so these are two types of anarthas, asatrishna and tattva vibrama, or sukritota, dushkritota, coming from sin and coming from piety. So they will go away without any separate effort, just by your practicing bhakti in a normal way. When you hear, read, chant, contemplate, meditate on these topics, what is the truth, what is the purpose of life, you will already be able to be free from these. The other two are slightly more complicated, especially offenses. And offenses is also one of the possible reasons why devotees suffer, offenses. And you can see that these obstacles can, especially offenses, they can stay, even at the stage of prema, some trace can remain. Even at the stage of prema, some slight hint of past aparadas can remain. So we should be especially careful about this. And obviously, weakness of heart, also, this is something we need to work at the stage of anartha nivrtti. At the stage of anartha nivrtti, we have to give up the attachment to side effects of bhakti. So what are the four kinds of bhakti-yutta anarthas? Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains this is tucca sakti, attachment to material objects, insignificant material objects, like everyday paneer sabji, 3 times a day. Of course, it's prasadam, but or some other material things. So, tucca in Sanskrit means insignificant, and it's an interesting word. It's what is called onomatopoeic. So its sound imitates the action. So tucca is like spitting. Pucha, the pucha. So the insignificant means poo. So this is like, what is the importance of these things? And if a person is attached to that, that's usually a sign of these other problems. So they begin from svapratishtata. The deepest weakness is desire to be special or prominent, or to have some status, to be a great saint, to be a famous saint, or to be a big leader, or to be a very ecstatic singer, or very famous lecturer, or whatever, some position. Because it's coming. It comes in devotional service. Some position, they will usually ask you, please do this service, please be responsible, please become a temple president, please become a leader or something. And therefore we can think, yes, I'm special, so I should protect my special position. And then the next step is matsarya, envy. Yeah? So if I have special position, then I have rivals. So I will be, distrustful. Oh, maybe he's trying to get my position. So envy. And then the next one, kutinati. Kutinati is intrigues, criticism, diplomatic, political games, politics. Right? So the most dangerous form is, of course, criticizing. And then when we criticize, that becomes already can become an offense, and because of this, we can become attached to material things. So you can see it goes from subtle desire for position, then to envy, then to politics, and then to attachments to material things. So these are 4 manifestations of weakness of heart. These are what are called weeds. So when we water the creeper of bhakti, then together with this creeper of bhakti, some weeds can grow. So these weeds, the most dangerous weed is pratishtha, desire to have position. But others also can be cruelty, puja, desire to be worshipped, labha, desire for greed for money or something. And we think it's for Krishna. I need this for Krishna. But we have to understand, for Krishna, I have to serve Krishna. That's all Krishna needs. So therefore we have to find these weeds and with strong heart just say, no, it's okay. Let me be an ordinary devotee, but serve humbly and be very friendly with all the devotees and serve Krishna humbly. So that's this way you find the weed and pull it out. And those who are weak in the heart, they allow these weeds to grow. And then bhakti does not develop. So this is the main activity at anartha nivrtti, to give up these useless weeds. Weeds? Wie sagt man das auf Deutsch?
Wurzel.
Unkraut.
Unkraut. And then you can see that already at Nishtha, when you are fixed, when your bhakti becomes fixed, then you are completely free. Some little trace can remain till ruchi. So you can see it's the first thing that's cleared. Already at taste, you are completely free. So nadhanam, najanam, nasundarim, you can see that lust is gone, a desire for pratishtha, followers, is removed, kavita, desire to be a great famous poet, finished, greed for money, puja, labha, pratishtha, gone. So because you have taste, no other desire is left. So because you have positive taste, all these material things are completely without any interest for you. So this is what we are doing. Any questions here?
If you have family, I have a daughter, for example, and she is not so amused that I go to the Hare Krishna now, and this is very difficult for me.
To
yeah,
present
because
to
I
the...
love her,
Yes.
sie ist etwas eifersüchtig oder so.
Sie ist eifersüchtig.
Yeah.
How old is she?
She is now 18 years old.
18. Yeah. So
Because she said to me, no, I'm not longer your number one.
yeah. In everybody's case, God has to be number one. You know, Jesus Christ said, I haven't brought peace, I have brought a sword and war between the Son and the Father. You remember, it's in the Gospel. So, yes, that's true. However, proper practice of bhakti means that we are even more kind to the relatives. Right? So we are trying to to respect their choice, to respect their personality, and because we are practicing bhakti, we are practicing self-realization, we are supposed to be more tolerant, we are supposed to be more merciful, especially to our relatives. I know many cases when relatives were happy when they saw the positive effect of bhakti. In the beginning they could have been, as you described, worried, oh, what is this, what is going to happen, or he's going to... And sometimes also devotees themselves become too fanatical. And they say, you demons, you meat eaters, you are karmis, and they become, you know, they chastise and become very harsh to the...
Sometimes it's things like, I don't want to eat eggs now,
Yes.
no more. And then many food, eggs are in many foods.
Yes.
Food. For example, sometimes in bread also.
Yes.
And then we start to have a discussion about this.
So it's best to, unless they are interested, the relatives, and they ask philosophically, it's best not to push. Just say, no, sorry, like some people have allergy for eggs. They just cannot eat eggs because of allergy, medical reasons. So you can just say, sorry, I for my own reasons, I avoid this food. You don't have to explain it to them in detail unless they are interested. Just, you know, this is, sorry, like with a smile, say, sorry, I will eat this, I will take something else, or I have some other food that I eat. And try to, sometimes maybe you can even cook something nice for them. There are nice cakes. I mean, our cuisine is so rich. There are so many nice foods. In fact, it's such an illusion. People think, oh, poor vegetarians, they don't have solid food to eat. They eat some grass or something. No, it's such a rich cuisine. There are so many wonderful things you can cook with, again, with paneer, with this chickpea flour. Wie sagt man auf Deutsch chickpea flour? Kichererbsen. Kichererbsen, yeah. So then, you know, you can fry it in oil or in ghee, and it becomes so rich, it's so tasty. Some kofta, some, you know, some pakora, samosa. So it's so tasty, so rich that if you give it to them, they have no doubt that it's enough. It's completely satisfying. So you can, you know, sort of positively, not negatively, no, but positively. Look, I have such nice food. Look, I have these nice pakoras, these nice things. Oh, try, this is so tasty. And then they will see, oh, you are happy and you are kind to them. Then after some time they will realize, oh, this is even better. This is even better. Like I have, like for example, with my parents. Well, even if they are watching, they don't understand English. So. After I became Hare Krishna, I think our relationship has improved a lot. It's become much better. Of course, to a large extent, thanks to them, they are very religious people and they sort of accepted that, yeah, God is more important. But just somehow in general, it became much more warm and loving, even, after I became a Hare Krishna. And I know some other people also. It's just that we have to be careful. No need to preach to them unless they ask questions, and just be kind and try to tolerate their actions and support them in whatever way, as a friend, as a relative. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that devotees continue interacting with relatives even if relatives are demons and Mayavadis. We are not in this situation. Our relatives are not demons and usually not Mayavadis. They're usually nice people. But he says, even if they were, still, out of duty, we have to act nicely to them. And that's also good preaching. That's the best preaching. When they see that you're happy and you're kind. And you are, Prabhupada says, my disciples are a perfect gentleman and a perfect lady. So then, what can they what can they say in this case? Okay. All right. So, congratulations. Karma is finished. Your karma is gone. Now it's free road to Krishna, but we have to move. We are on the good road, but it's no use sitting. We have to also move in this road. So that's what we are discussing. Okay, so we will continue tomorrow morning. And if you have any questions, tomorrow morning you can watch if you want. I think it works.
Ja, es funktioniert sehr gut.
Yeah, okay. And then we continue also evening, same morning, like 5 to 8, around 8, and then evening again at around 7 we continue. And you can try to see in your life, do you have desire, do you have pride? Do you want to become a famous saint? Do you want to be famous as a very serious meditator, expert meditator, ecstatic singer of Hare Krishna, or prominent spiritualist? Do you feel sometimes envy or rivalry to other devotees? And that's usually if they do something what you do. Right? Like, for example, I'm not a singer, so therefore if somebody is a good singer, it doesn't matter for me. But if somebody is a lecturer, then I will look how is he lecturing and what is he, it's already... Usually that will be the area where I can be actually actuated in this. And where do I like to criticize? Whom do I want to criticize? Do I have the urge to criticize somebody? So that's usually based on that desire for position. And attachment to insignificant material things, that's the side effect of that criticism. So try to find these weeds in the heart, and then get this weed and do the ping, no. Okay, Krishna, so your decision, whatever you want, I accept. I am not a big devotee. Also, I'm not a useless devotee. I'm just whatever I am, I am. I serve you in my position.
Will you say a few words about the difference between correction and criticism? And in the sense...
yeah, what's the difference between correction and criticism? So, correction...
When we can correct, or who can correct?
Yes. Correction is a duty of the parents, but that also has to be based on love, right? Duty of a teacher, also based on love and desire for the student to advance, and a duty of the employer. So, if you have workers, servants or workers in your company, then it's also your duty to maybe criticize them and correct them. But that also is based on some positive. So these three categories are people who have to give some correction. In other cases, then I may criticize, but if the person does not accept me as the father, his father, if the person does not accept me as his guru, or the person does not accept me as his employer, Arbeitgeber, as his employer, then my correction will not help. He will not accept it. He has to actually want to hear me. He has to ask. Then he will accept. And I have to give it with affection, with love, with desire to, not out of anger. Oh, you're like this is bad, you're a bad person. He will also not be inspired to improve. He has to feel, oh, he cares, and he respects me. So to give correction, I have to respect the choice of a person, that he may accept or he may not accept. And if he sees respect to a person, that I respect him as a person, that's the basic minimum level of love, that I respect his choice, that he can make a different choice. Then I cannot force. I mean, I can force or manipulate, but that's not helpful. He has to make his own choice. And that he will do only when he decides. So I have to respect that that's his choice. So it's not so simple.
And what about friends?
Friends, yes.
On the same level?
Yes, friends is also there. So between friends it's easier. But that also, friends means you will not, even if they don't do it, you will not reject them. Friends means you will tolerate and forgive. You can, sometimes even be harsh with them. Oh, you're eating so much. You're a lazy bum or something. And okay, you're friends, and they say, "Oh, you think so?" Or you eat yourself too much. So between friends, it's not a big deal. But still, we have to see how they are reacting to this. Do they feel insulted, or does it actually help? Why they eat too much, or why they are lazy? Maybe they need help. Maybe they need some inspiration. Maybe they need some Krishna Katha. And then that will help them to give up some undesirable activities. So in other words, with friends, we try to inspire them, speak with them about Krishna. And that's what, again, this positive taste is what helps us give up all the maya, all the negative things. So we try to inspire them with Krishna Katha, and then we can say that I think you should do like this. I mean, it's best for you that's the solution. But again, maybe it's too difficult for them. So we can tolerate it. We respect this. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And Manchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha